All right, good afternoon, everyone. We'll call the April 28th Plan Commission meeting to order at 4:30. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Alder Blanky. Mayor Stocks is out at a conference today, so he asked me to chair the meeting for him today. Our first order of business is the approval of minutes from April 14th, 2025. Are any comments, suggestions, or changes to those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Lampy. Second by Kenizer. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to our business for this evening. Our first order of business is a public hearing for 1684 South Church Street, a request for a conditional use permit for indoor institutional for a licensed adult daycare under section 550-51C. If there is any public comment, just please step to the microphone.
I don't know if I need to do this or not. She's on vacation in Florida and he came down with laryngitis. So I was the broker on getting them the space. And so that I said I'd swing by just in case you guys had any questions, but they're already state licensed, state inspected. They just forgot to do this step. So. Thank you.
Is there anyone online who would like to comment on this item?
Sure. Just wanted to ask, given the location of this business, I know it's not a requirement on our end. I don't believe so, but I would strongly encourage the business to have a sign put on the building that's not a banner. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, good.
Any further comment? I will close the public hearing. Our next item is to take action on 1684 South Church Street, the request for a CUP. Brian.
All right, so as Alder Blanky said, this is a conditional use permit for indoor institutional for an adult daycare. It's in an existing building. There was no alterations required to the building. They're using it as currently configured. And they do meet all the criteria for indoor institutional land use. So the recommendation would be to approve the conditional use permit.
Any comments from the commissioners? Any comments from anyone online? If not, I would take a motion.
Move approval.
I'll second.
Motion by Krieger, second by Lampy. Any further comment? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Our next item on the agenda is to review and take action 1413 and 1415 Grandview Court, a certified survey map request. Brian.
All right, so this is a certified survey request to combine two existing platted lots. There is currently a stormwater drainage easement between the two existing lots that will need to be relocated. And the airport protection zone elevation of 972 feet will need to be noted on the CSM as well. There is no right of way being dedicated by the CSM. So there are three potential conditions for the plan commission to consider. One would be to require a revised grading plan and easement relocation. Second would be to add the drainage easement responsibilities to the CSM, the airport approach zone elevation, and to correct the signature page to include signature lines for the mayor and the clerk. So the recommendation would be to approve it with those four conditions.
Any comments from the commissioners? There being none, I would take a motion.
I will make a motion to approve with conditions.
Motion by Lampy,
I'll second.
second by Kenizer. Any further comment on the motion? There being none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The next item on our agenda is to review public hearing comments and make recommendation to the Common Council for 100 East Division Street rezoning. There were some comments at this public hearing. Steven's not here or online, is he? I was gonna ask if we can handle D and E together since they're linked, but we'll take them individually.
D, actually, E has been
Oh, you are
repealed by or postponed by the request of the applicant. So we're just dealing with the rezoning from general business to central business.
I just want to make everybody aware the developers are on Zoom if you have any questions for them. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mason.
Did you want me to
So I'm,
dive into it then, or?
yeah, if you
Okay.
could, Brian.
All right, so this is part of the Northtown Partners, the Oxbow on the old Johnsonville site just north of us here. And this is one of the steps to change the zoning of those two parcels from general business to central business for an eventual multifamily apartment complex. There was a plan development overlay, a CSM, and a street vacation that are all tied to this that are still pending. The plan development overlay and the CSM have been delayed by the applicant. So they're basically looking just to get the rezoning approved tonight, or recommendation for the rezoning tonight with a couple conditions that ultimately the plan development overlay gets approved by Common Council, that the vacation of Cole Street gets approved by Common Council, and that the CSM associated with these parcels is approved by the Plan Commission at a future date. There were comments from the April 15th public hearing before Common Council, mainly dealt with concerns about parking, traffic, the building's height and mass, shading, parcels to the north, and the potential of people who live in the apartments having to look at the meat processing facility to the north and things that they might not want to see. So the recommendation from staff would be to move the rezoning onto Common Council with the three spelled out conditions.
And if I'm correct, the comments made at the Common Council meeting are more in regards to the item that has been postponed.
Correct.
Not to the rezoning.
Correct. They're all interrelated, but yeah, this could get rezoned and that could never happen. And so you're really just evaluating the merits of the rezoning here tonight, regardless of what ultimately gets built there. Yeah.
So this rezoning would need to occur for any type of mixed-use residential to occur on that site, right? Whether it's this development or future development?
Yes. Yes. And if that's your privy to kind of approach it that way, you could leave off the requirement or the condition of the plan development overlay being a requirement, because that wouldn't necessarily have to happen. If you just want to look at the rezoning in its pure sense, it could just be based on the CSM and the vacation of Cole Street. But if you want to tie it to the Oxbow project, then leaving that condition of a plan development overlay would be the way to go.
So you're looking for a motion?
Do we normally take comments from citizens on something like this?
You can ask if there's any comments, and it certainly is
Because I know that there are people here.
sure, you give them a couple minutes if you wanted to.
If there's anyone in the gallery who would like to speak on this rezoning, and just to bring you up to speed, this is not, we're not voting on the actual project right now. We're simply voting on the zoning that would allow a project of this type to go forward. Is that accurate?
It is accurate.
Oh, okay. I spoke mostly about parking and the very limited parking that is in that whole area. The other thing, that I did think of is, the water situation. Not just the sewer, you know, but also the, gutters and all that. I mean,
Stormwater?
Yeah, stormwater. I mean, whenever it rains hard, Second Street floods. And they did fix Second Street just, you know, I don't know, maybe 6 years ago. That did not solve the problem. The manhole cover I live right on the corner, so that was constantly bubbling up. I caught Pete Hart out there one day a couple of years ago, because I always have to call the city to come and put the manhole cover back on. So people aren't, you know, getting their wheels stuck in there. And he did put a vented cover on, so that kind of helps, but the water just bubbles up and it's bubbling up all the gutters too, or, you know, the storm gutters on every corner, and the whole street floods. I've seen that flood, not just the street, but it actually goes up over the sidewalk, and I've seen it go all the way up the lady's lawn to her and over her first step. It goes up that high sometimes. I mean, that's a problem. And I guess I'm just wondering, I know, well, maybe 12 years ago when they had that really big rain, all the water from that side of town comes down these streets. You know, all the new building out by the hospital and those big apartments over there, that whole subdivision, all that water is coming down these streets, goes down Second Street, goes, I don't know, I think under First Street too, and it goes over, and I know a lot of those properties on Riverview Lane, they had their basements fill up. So I'm just concerned about all this, you know, big building there. 68 apartments, that's a lot of sewer water going down, all these, you know, bathrooms, washers, whatever. And how that's gonna affect down the line. My basement has never backed up, but I'm at the bottom of the hill. So I don't want sewer backing up into my basement either. So I'm wondering if all that has been looked at and really thought out before you allow a big building to be put there. So that's my one comment for tonight, besides all the parking issues.
Sorry. Is there anyone else who would like to comment? All right, there being none, I would entertain a motion.
Move approval, positive recommendation with 3 conditions.
And I will second that. So a motion with the conditions identified by Mr. Zerbis was made by Krieger, seconded by me. Is there any comment on the motion?
And again, this is only the rezoning at this point. All the stormwater details and other engineering, we haven't even gotten to that point yet.
Correct. And the rezoning is contingent
On the
upon the Oxbow development. So if that falls through, my understanding would be it would not be rezoned.
Correct.
That's with that one condition that we've
Yeah.
added to it?
The
That is one of the three conditions.
Okay.
the PD, the requirement of the PD to be approved as well would, if that doesn't happen, then this base zoning district would not change.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that. All right. Any other comments or questions? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion passes. Item E on our agenda was to be review public hearing comments and make recommendation to common council on 100 East Division Street PD overlay map amendment. That has been repealed at the request of the applicant, and we will consider that a future date. Next item on our agenda, item F, is to review the public hearing comments and make a recommendation to the common council on the zoning ordinance text amendment for central business apartments. Brian.
All right, so this is the removal of the central business apartment land use that you've seen previously. Went to public hearing at common council. There were no comments on this, and this again would because of the some of the conflicts of the way it's written would remove this from the code, and then any plan development overlays which would happen in central business would take place like they were in the past, like the Globe and River Mills through a plan development overlay. So the recommendation would be to proceed with the text amendment and recommend it to council for adoption.
Any comments from the commission? Commissioner Lampy.
Okay, I have an objection to 1A and then the two paragraphs beneath it. I do not like the removal of the historic sites from this text amendment. I feel like new projects can be, like the Globe and River Mill can be handled on their own merits, but I get very uncomfortable with any potential idea of first floor commercial spaces in the business district potentially becoming residential. And for a very long time, we worked hard to remove first floor residential from the historic district downtown.
That would still be the case. It's not an allowed use, and the only way that can happen would be through a plan development overlay. This is just removing all the intricacies that go on with that plan develop or the central business apartments. There wouldn't, it's still everything still would have to go through historic preservation for appropriateness, certificate of appropriateness. None of that changes. It's really just the eliminating the entire text associated with central business apartments. It will be revisited as part of the currently underway zoning ordinance amendment, so we can fix or rewrite, excuse me, we can fix those concerns at that time. This is really the part that's being struck here is really specific to the central business apartments only, and that's the only place it would apply right now anyway. And that's never actually been implemented anywhere. It's never been utilized as a way to approve development.
Okay, so if we strike this today,
Mhm.
where does the language live then between now and the future updates?
It's not allowed in central business in general. The first floor residential is not allowed. So like I said, the only way you'd be able to do it would be through a plan development overlay, and you have to go through that whole process to allow first floor residential.
In new construction or existing?
Yep, there's no first floor. The only time you can do commercial, any kind of residential in central business is a second floor commercial apartments.
Mhm.
So if you wanted to do anything on the first floor, you'd have to do a plan development overlay, whether it's an existing building or a new building. And that would go through that whole process and also go to historic preservation for certificate of appropriateness, especially in an existing building. So the controls and checks are still there. It just removes this conflicting land use where it requires a rezoning. A conditional use process requires an additional rezoning, which is convoluted and actually maybe have some issues with state statute. So that's the reason to remove it. And it was reviewed by Vanderwall and Associates. They agree this is not just something we dreamed up one day in the office. It was reviewed by them, and this was their recommendation.
So again, does this language live elsewhere in our code? Or is it going to be put somewhere else as part of an update?
We can certainly add something more to it with the rewrite. I can just real check here, see if there's a.
Like, I'm not trying to pound you with
No,
questions.
no, I'll look real quick here and make sure that there's I believe there is a. Well, since there is no residential use allowed in central business apartments without a planned development, it would by default, yeah, not be allowed. So it's there is no, like I said, the only residential use in central business zoning is central business or our second floor apartments. So,
Okay.
yeah, that would cover it.
If you feel confident about that,
I-
I will have
It's
faith
and
in
it's
that.
it's confident. I'm confident with it, and Vanderwall is confident with it. So I think we're good.
Any other comments? Anyone in the gallery? Anyone online? There being none, I would entertain a motion.
I'll move a positive recommendation, yeah, positive recommendation as shown on page 29. I appreciate the clarification a moment ago.
I will second. Any comments on the motion? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? The motion passes. Sorry, I'm working on minutes and
Yeah, I figured that would be a little bit of a task for you.
on to item G, review and take action. 1 East Main Street site review of Plaza Phase 2 ADA compliant ramp and stairs and 112 South First Street parking lot reconstruction. This one yours?
Yes. Our plan is to reconstruct the South First Street parking lot this summer. Portions of it have been bid out. The city crews will do most of the work for the project. It will change the parking lot to angle parking or diagonal parking with a dedicated entrance and a dedicated exit only. And in conjunction with this project, Moss Brothers will be hopefully awarded the contract to construct the ADA compliant ramp leading from the plaza down into the parking lot. And there will be a concrete sidewalk connecting the ramp to the existing board walkway.
And just a note, the ADA ramp did come in front of Public Works and was approved there. Are there any comments or questions from the commission?
I just want to say this looks great. That Little River Walkway Plaza closed in 2019. And it's been a long time coming. So I'm very happy to see this finally in front of us and moving ahead.
And these two projects this year should finish
Yes,
redeveloping that whole area.
it will be great.
Agreed. I didn't realize it had been
Mhm.
6 years.
I remember that morning well, when I came downtown and Park and Rec were taking all my planters and benches off the plaza. I said, what's going on? Well, they had detected a structural issue and that was the end of the plaza for a long time.
All right, well, there being no further comments from the commission, I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve.
And I'll second.
Motion by Lamb, second by Kenizer. Any comments or questions on the motion? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed?
Abstain.
Just had to.
I know.
Thank you.
Right. Item H on our agenda is review and take possible action, purchase portion of 1020 East Main Street for 2026 Dewey Avenue STP Urban Reconstruction Project. Is this one yours, Andrew?
I'll kick us off and then I'll turn it over to Richie. The plat for this project has come before the commission previously and been approved by the Common Council. This is a step in the land acquisition process. There was one piece of property along the Dewey Avenue corridor that needed a small sliver of land purchased as additional right-of-way to facilitate reconstruction of the project. We've worked with our sub-consultants, Steigerwald, and the property owner to reach an agreement. And Richie, I'll turn it over to you on the details of that.
Yes, this is a small triangle portion at the corner of Dewey Avenue and East Main Street. Necessary to be purchased for the installation of a ADA compliant curb ramp.
Any comments or questions from the commission? There being none, I would entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Motion by Lampy. Do I hear a second? Second by Krieger. Any comments on the motion? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Thanks. I knew it was coming that time. Right, our final item on the agenda is to convene into closed session. It is review and take action, offer to purchase regarding parcel number 14-291-0915-2132-003 and 14-291-0915-2132-004. So I would take a motion to convene into closed session per state statute 19.85, paragraph E, to deliberate or negotiate the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. This is in regards to the aforementioned parcels. Do I have a motion to go into closed session? Motion by Kenizer. Second by Byer. And I will take the roll. Kenizer.
Aye.
Lampy.
Aye.
Byer. I will vote aye. Krieger.
Aye.
All right, so we'll have to ask everyone to leave the room while we convene into closed session. We will come back into open session and take action on this item.
It's your presentation.
No, Mason. Promoting.
Thank you, Brian. Did any of them stay and are on their way back in?
Chatting in the hallway, but we are back.
Right, so our next item of action is to review and take action, approve or deny negotiating selling of parcel number 14291091521320003 and 004. And the negotiating will be done by the Finance Committee. Any comments? I don't know. It's two parcels at the end of Country Club Lane. So if you take Country Club Lane all the way to the end, the very end of it is, there are three parcels that are owned by the city that are wetland. And the Country Club is looking to purchase them. Can you,
Technically, offers from Dan Rayfelt, but yeah.
sorry. First time chairing a meeting, don't know how all of this works yet.
Well, is that the property right there?
You said it was a wetland, but wow.
What is that?
What's wrong with it?
Way at the top.
Can you get any closer?
Sure. I was gonna select them for you.
Oh, okay. So it is basically the two on the bottom of the cul-de-sac there. So it would be 1625 and 1705 Country Club Lane. They're undevelopable wetlands, so it's not just delineated as a wetland. There is water there. I'm gonna say most of the year, because I'm guessing in the middle of summer it might be dry enough that it's not.
Well, to that point, I would move to advance the Finance Committee a positive recommendation to consider selling those two parcels named.
And I will second that.
Motion by Krieger. Second by Lampy. Based on the nature of this item, I am going to take a roll call vote on this. Krieger,
Aye.
I will vote aye. Fire,
Aye.
Lampy,
Aye.
Kenizer.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Great, thank you. I will let him know.
Thank you. There being no further business in front of this body, I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Kenizer. Second
I'll second it.
by Lampy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We are adjourned at 5:11 PM. Thank you, everyone.
Wow, is that your first one?
That was my first one. The only problem is now I don't know how to get back to it to stop the recording. I think,
It's gotta expand it.
is it that one?
I think it's this one here.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
Just hit the square. It says yes.